about Jay that you may or may not know. A lot of us watched him playing, and so interesting. There's stuff I didn't know. I started doing some background. So Jay Schroeder attended Palisades high school football teammate of Forrest Whitaker. Didn't know that. But he didn't start playing football at first. He's going to explain this. He played in the Toronto Blue Jays minor league system. Was drafted 3rd overall, 1979 Major League Baseball draft by the Blue Jays. Did you know that? I had no idea about that. And he was inducted in the Kingston Professional Baseball Hall of Fame in 1996. As you guys know, he played college football for the UCLA Bruins, selected 3rd round, 83rd overall, 1984 draft by the Washington Redskins. Played 4 seasons with them, and while with the Redskins, Jay was selected to the Pro Bowl after the 1986 season, threw for 4,109 yards that year. Wow. Team record stood for 29 years. Unbelievable. Remains the 3rd all-time leader, single-season passing for Washington. Led Washington to the NFC title game against the New York Giants. Wow. Then he went on to play for the Raiders 5 seasons, culminating in leading the Raiders to a 12-4 record in 1990 and an appearance in the AFC Championship against Buffalo Bills. Then he spent 1 season with Cincinnati Bengals, then the Arizona Cardinals, and they retired in 1995. Is that right, Jay? Having thrown, get this, 20,063 yards as a quarterback with 114 touchdowns in the NFL. That's crazy, man. That's unbelievable. Wow. Wow. So beyond football, he's known for his Christian faith, family life. He experienced a miraculous healing of his son, CJ, from a brain tumor in 1993. And now he serves as AD at Lake Mead Christian Academy. He's in his 4th year as the AD. He's been coaching, told me, 27 years at all different places, man. So he's been actively involved. And so, hey, Jay, we put together a highlight reel of you. We were pulling off old clips from YouTube. And so let's see if we can roll that before we get Jay up here, okay?
Being chased by Keith Malloy. And he's gone neat. Didier! It's a catch at the tills. It's the arm of Schroeder throwing the long ball. And does this guy have a cannon? Well, that's what Jay Schroeder does best. He throws the long ball.
And Schroeder's arm, you know it's going to be a touchdown.
Schroeder has his time, and he has our funk. Here's Schroeder back to throw and quickly goes upstairs.
Didier, and he's off to the races. Schroeder showing you the strength of that arm, and I think Schroeder just threaded the needle.
Oh,
Plenty of time, balls deep, has his man. Schroeder with a great arm.
anyway, let's welcome Jay Schroeder to Rock Harbor.
All right. Hey, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here. This is one of my passions. I do a lot of different things, but one of my passions is going around and being able to tell stories, share my faith, not because I'm somebody, because I think we all need to hear that God can use you in whatever way he will allow him to use you. And I never thought you just watched highlights, and we'll get into it, and I'll try to explain it. Pastor was trying to ask me beforehand. It's too long, it's too complicated. I am a baseball guy. That's it. That's it. I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We moved to Excelsior, Minnesota. And halfway through my 6th grade year, my dad came home. I'm the last of 5 kids. My dad came home. We had a chicken farm. He says, I got good news and bad news. We're like, sweet. What's the good news, Dad? He goes, I got a new job. We're like, yes, yes. He was a traveling salesman, and we ran the farm, all that. I still get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Do you all know what that's like, right? You guys can relate. Yeah, I was that guy too. He said, the good news is I've got a new job. The bad news is it's in California. I'm a baseball guy. I'm in 6th grade. I had my 2 bags packed. I'm like, let's go. Why? I even knew at that age, California, you can play baseball year round. So that's what I did. I played baseball, and I played baseball, and I played baseball. How did I play high school football? Any of you ever have a buddy talk you into doing something? So I went to Palisades High School. They asked me to play football, and I said, I'll make you a deal. I grew up with these guys and played baseball with them all the way up through and played Pop Warner. I said, I'll make you a deal. I said, I'll play high school football as long as I don't get hurt. Here's my reason. In California, I'm playing baseball year round. I played on like 4 or 5 different teams every year because I played 5 or 6 games a week. So I would play a football game on Friday night and I would catch a doubleheader on Saturday. I wasn't going to miss baseball because some guy whacked me in football. So I say all that because the good Lord has a good sense of humor. I never got hurt in high school and I never got hurt in college. Okay? So I went to high school, went to Palisades High School. We got to play against some guys in baseball and football that ended up pretty good. There was a guy in my league that beat me 2 years in a row in the city playoffs for football. Guy by the name of John Elway. Anybody heard of him? So John and I started playing against each other when we were 17. And then in baseball, I played against a guy that went to Crenshaw High School that, I guess, any New York Met fans in here? No? Well, guy by the name of Darryl Strawberry. Okay? Those are the guys I grew up playing against and all that. So it was just that competition and everything else. Got to be pretty good in football. Got to be, I would say, really good in baseball. My junior year, I hit .523. My senior year, I hit .526. I was the 3rd player drafted in the first round coming out of high school in 1979 baseball draft. The day I turned 18 is the day I became a professional athlete. It was a nice birthday present. Signed my name. Toronto gave me a check. And they said, great, we want you to come. I was like, hold on, time out. See, I'm that guy that everybody told me, you can't do that. I'm also the guy that said, if you tell me I can't do that, I'm going to go do it. Okay, so I was good enough in football. I was being recruited by every Pac-10 school. I know I'm dating myself. Yeah, it was Pac-10 back then, okay, except for one. And that one school was Stanford, which is fine because probably didn't qualify for Stanford on that. But they were going to get that guy by the name of Elway. Okay, that's where John went. I had gone through the whole recruiting process, and I said, look, I'm going to play baseball. And they're like, okay, you can do both, and and all that. And they're like, all right. So the night before the national letter of intent for college football came, Don James was at my house. He was the coach at Washington because I really wanted to go to Washington. And he came down and he says, yeah, we'll let you play baseball, but after your sophomore year. I was like, time out. That was not the deal, right? That was not the deal. So I walked in the other room. I called the coaches from UCLA. I said, what about that baseball thing? And they're like, yeah, we'll let you do it. I signed with UCLA the next day, okay? Now, I'm also that guy, because you're all looking at me puzzled. You have to remember, you couldn't be a professional athlete in one sport and an amateur in another back then. Yeah, so I went to the NCAA board, got a couple of lawyers, got some other guys around the country and said, we're going to get this changed. We got the rule changed. Again, don't tell me I can't do it. So, June of '79, I get drafted in baseball. Fall of '79, I go to UCLA. I play in 2 games as a freshman. I'm the backup to a guy by the name of Rick Bayshore. Play in 2 games. Left school over the summertime. I played 8 weeks straight of minor league baseball, every game, every inning. Flew out on a Sunday night, and was at UCLA's football practice Monday morning at 6:30 a.m. to play my sophomore year. I came back. I left spring ball as the number 1 quarterback. I came back. I'm number 4 on the depth chart. Anybody ever have somebody lie to you? It happens. I said, why? He goes, you weren't here over the summer. It was like, you knew exactly the plan. So I worked my way back up. I played in 9 games that year, my sophomore year. 9 games, came off the bench. In 8 of those 9 games, I started 1 game. Last game we played Oregon State over in Tokyo. I came off the bench after the second series, and we beat that team across town, the Trojans, I guess, that SC thing. If you ever want to go back and look at a film, find the 1980 USC-UCLA football game played in the Coliseum. I threw a pass to a guy by the name of Freeman McNeil with about 1:10 left to go in the game to beat SC. It was the first time UCLA beat them in like 5 years. USC had guys like Chip Banks, pretty good linebacker, he's okay, right? Don Mosbar. They had this running back by the name of Marcus Allen. He was pretty good. The USC backfield, defensive backfield that year, guy by the name of Jeff Fisher. Okay? People don't realize that he's actually the one that tipped the pass, so he really doesn't like me much, but no, we're good. They had a guy by the name Dennis Thurman. Ronnie Lott. Okay, I'm going to give you a little piece of advice. If you ever get to play in a football game and Ronnie Lott's on the other team like I did when I was 19 years old, I rolled out and I threw the pass and I went, oh crap. It was perfect, right between the 4 and the 2. The only problem was I was wearing powder blue, he was wearing that burgundy color. So the problem was, yeah, I threw a bad pass, but the other problem was now I had to go tackle him. Okay? Then the other guy in the backfield was a guy by the name of Dennis Smith. That was our defensive backfield. UCLA side, we had Freeman McNeil was our running back. Kenny Easley was our safety. Tim Reitman, there's guys up and down the line. I think there's 7 Hall of Famers that played in that game. And we were all young kids and had no clue, right? We're just out there playing. But we played in front of 100,000 people and all that. Played the next week in Tokyo, as I said. I played 1 quarter, got on the headset afterwards. We put 35 points up against Oregon State. And a really good friend of mine, a great man that was my offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, Homer Smith, was on the other end. And I said, Coach, he goes, I know, you're leaving. Because here's what happened. Halfway through that year, a guy by the name of Pat Gillick. Anybody know baseball? He was a GM for a long time. He was the GM for Toronto at the time. Halfway through the year, he's like, hey, we're not real excited about watching our number 1 draft choice run around getting hit on the football field. Yeah, I was a little bit cocky. I was like, hey, I'm having a blast. I'm having a blast. He's like, well, we want to make you a deal. I'm like, what's that? He says, we want to bring you to big league camp and put you on big league roster. You guys understand there's only 40 guys that are on big league roster, right? 40 guys that can play. I'm 19 years old. I'm like, when? Where? What time do you need me there? I'm out. So I actually left school. I went and played baseball for 4 years straight for Toronto. I left school after my sophomore year. I started 1 game. I played in a total of 11. Everybody tracking so far? Makes sense, right? Played 4 years, went up and down in baseball, struggled, doing different things. I was never really comfortable. The best thing in my life happened to me during baseball. I grew up in the church and all that, but I ran into a good guy by the name of Rip Kirby who ran Baseball Chapel America. He was the president. Then I came to find out, because there's chapels in every stadium every week that Baseball Chapel used to run. Now they have other organizations and it's split up and everything else. But I also found out that Rip was down in Tampa And I went and played down in Dunedin, Florida in winter. So Rip actually mentored me and everything else. So I got to do that. I gave my life to Christ. I went back my third year down there, and Rip sat down and he's like, "What's wrong?" And I go, "Man, I'm just struggling. Just struggling." And he's like, "Tell me about it." So I stayed there. We talked a whole lot and everything else. And if you know something about baseball, well, it doesn't matter today. I could be in today's game. I hit a bunch of home runs, but I struck out a lot. Back in my era, that was not good because you needed to hit 300, right? That was the goal. Nowadays, it doesn't matter. They just want you to hit home runs. You can strike out. So I led the league in strikeouts, which is not good. And I wasn't a pitcher, so that didn't work out. But he asked me a question, and it took me a couple of weeks to figure it out. He said, "You love baseball, don't you?" And I go, "Absolutely, more than anything." He says, "Let me ask you a question." He says, "I don't want you to answer now. I want you to think about it and pray about it." He said, "What if God had bigger and better plans for you?" Think about it. I'm 20 years old, 21 years old, and I have this gentleman telling me, "What if God has bigger and better plans for you?" And all I've ever done was play baseball. Would you listen to him? It was tough. It was tough, right? So I went back, played the next year and everything else. Kept calling him, went down, played winter ball, and he said, "Have you rethought about my question?" And I go, "Yeah." I said, "I wonder what that looks like." And he said, "You'll never know unless you give it a shot." Guys, don't ever do this. I got married in October, and I left baseball in December. It's not good. You know, your new wife is expecting you to have a job and have money coming in. And I'm like, "No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go play football." I got a lot of that. They're like, "You haven't thrown a pass in 4 years." I said, "I know. But God's going to make it happen." Little did I know that God had sent an angel to help make those things happen. I told you about my college coach, right? Homer Smith. Got a divinity degree, coached at Army, coached at UCLA, all over the place. Here's what I found out after I got drafted into the NFL, after my first year when I made the team. I ran into him at a game, gave him a big hug. You know what he told me? He's like, "I knew you could do it. I knew you could do it." But I found out something that week before the game that my parents finally told me. That man wrote a letter to every NFL team on my behalf. I didn't ask him. He was like, sent it out, made film available, got me workouts. I had no idea. I did individual workouts. You know how they have this combine thing? Yeah, I never saw it. I went and did individual workouts. But at the time, I'm a little shorter now. I'm only 6'4". I was just under 6'5" at the time. I ran a 4.5 40, and I could throw a football 88 yards in the air. Somebody was going to take a chance. That was Washington. Okay? So I ended up playing 11 years in the NFL. 11 games in college. 11 games in college, 4 years off, 11 years in the NFL. Makes perfect sense, right? Well, it doesn't. It leads me to my life's verse. Anybody got a Bible? Got a Bible app? Ephesians 3:20 and 21. Somebody find it. Let me know when you got it. What? 3:20 and 21. You got it? Stand up, nice and loud, read it. You understand what that says? It's not my power. I gave my life to Christ. Christ said, watch. Watch what I'm going to do. Gentlemen, all that stuff that Pastor read about the NFL, that's great. But you know what that got me to do? I've been all around the world sharing my faith. God's amazing. If you allow Christ to work through you, he'll do amazing things. Does that mean that you're all going to become an NFL quarterback? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Everybody has different gifts, different talents. God has blessed you with something that he has given you. Some of you work your tails off. That's a gift from God. But how are you using it? I have an opportunity, and I've had for almost 30 years, to be with high school and college kids, coaching and AD all over the place. It has changed dramatically. Okay? My challenge to you tonight is, what are you doing to get back to where we need to be? Let me ask you this. There's a lot of you older folks like me in here. We used to go to the grocery store. And it wasn't self-checkout. Young guys, it wasn't self-checkout. There was actually people there. Okay? And there was actually a young person at the end of the counter. Doing what? Right. And what was the question they asked you? Paper or plastic? Right? Okay? Don't raise your hands because I'm in this group too. How many of you at some point in time got in that line, got down there, here's this young person just trying to make a couple of extra bucks, and they say paper or plastic, and you look over and go, plastic. What does that young person think of you? Absolutely, right? Why? Did they do anything to you? No. No. Could have just said, plastic, please. Now what do they think of you? Let me ask you this. How many of you gone through a grocery line, walk up behind an elderly person, and go, oh, honey, you just have a few. Go ahead. No, I'm good. And then when it comes time to come, slide around and swipe your card. Anybody ever do that? I have. Why? To get recognition? Absolutely not. It's a sign of respect. It's a sign of respect. I'm telling you right now, kids today are different. Kids today are different. I try to explain to them. My grandmother, rest her soul, had an ice box. Not a refrigerator, an ice box. And we used to eat at her house just about every night. And it wasn't, oh, what can I make you tonight? You're all laughing because you know the answer, right? It wasn't a choice. What was on the table is what you were going to eat, right? And if you didn't eat it, you what? You waited till the next day. It's not, hey, I'm going to run down to McDonald's. I'm going to run down to In-N-Out. Hey, how about we just pop something in the microwave? Because there was not a microwave, right? There you go, right? So they come up, today's kids live in a society that is instant. Everything they do. How many of you have a cell phone? How many kids have a cell phone? Our kids have to put their cell phone away before they go to first period and don't get it back till the end of class because it's that distracting. We take their phones away. We take their Apple Watches away. I'm sorry, it's guys in here. Mr. Schroeder, but I need to get a hold of Bobby. He forgot his lunch. Bobby will be fine. He's fine. But no, you don't understand. He'll be fine. He might be appreciative next time and not forget his lunch. I said, does Bobby make his lunch? Oh, no, I make it for him. Well, that's part of the problem. See what I'm getting at? Today's kids are different. They get everything handed to them. Guys, we need to reverse that. Don't be afraid to stand up for what's right. Today's world is backwards. Okay? And we can go on and on about all kinds of things that are going on. It is backwards. We have to stand up for what's right. Do the right thing. Don't do it to get fame. Don't do it to get glory. Don't let your kids do it because you want to be their friend. Be their parent. Parents make tough choices. We have to get back to that. We all sitting here tonight, we all have different backgrounds. We all have different things to do. Pastor, did you ever think you were going to be a pastor?
No, not at all.
What did you think you were going to be?
A baseball player.
No wonder I liked him. Right? What changed?
God took me in a different direction.
Oh, and you allowed that, huh?
I had no choice.
You know, it's funny, when a door gets slammed in your face and you have to figure it out, it's amazing how much you rely on God. Yeah. Right? I'm going to be honest with you guys. There is something you can do to help somebody else. There's no question about it. I don't care if you have a lot of money. Thank the Lord. Are you blessing somebody else? Are you able to give somebody work because you own a business? Give somebody that's maybe struggling a little bit, hey, let's help turn your life around. But here's the deal. I got rules. You abide by my rules and you work hard, good things are going to happen. Does that sound like a biblical principle? I think so, right? How about those that are unfortunate? How many stop at Starbucks? How many of your wives stop at Starbucks? $6 a day, once, twice, a couple of times a day. That's a meal for people. Would it be that tough to miss a Starbucks one day? My kids at school get on my case all the time. You know why? I have a Keurig in my office. I put water in it, I put a cup in it, boom, bump. And they're like, Coach, it's black coffee. Absolutely. Doesn't have to be fancy, right? Get involved, give back, do different things. I've been fortunate I get to do a lot of different things. I've been working with high school and college kids for almost 30 years. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I have kids that call me and I answer my phone and they go, hey, Coach, how you doing? No better feeling. No better feeling, okay? I went back, it was funny, my grandson was playing in the San Diego section championship game down there, and one of the cheerleaders down on the field, her dad was the quarterback that played with my son that I coached. And I haven't seen Joel in 5 or 6 years. And he's sitting down there. I'm walking on the back rail, and I hollered, "Hey, Joel." He didn't turn around. He yelled, "Coach!" He goes, "I will never forget that voice." That's an impact. You don't realize what you have, that impact, right? You have some way to do it. I'm blessed right now. I get to be a part of a charity, which is really cool. One of my best friends is a former Army Ranger. Lost his best friend, who became an Army doctor, to suicide. I get a call from my buddy JP, an Army Ranger, crying his eyes out. And I'm like, "Oh, what's going on?" And he's like, "I'm sitting on the tailgate of my truck." "Where?" He told me. I said, "Do not move." I said, "It says 45 minutes. I'll be there in 30. I got in there. I got over there. His best buddy that he went through boot camp with, that became his doctor, he just saw the day before, and they made plans to see each other when he was going to be over deployed again. He was going to go over for a short stint, and JP was going to go see him. The next morning, JP got the call that he shot himself. JP said, "I didn't see any of the signs. I had no idea." I said, "What do you want to do about it?" He's an Oklahoma cowboy, through and through. Roper, rider. He says, "I love horses. We want to do vets. We have the Liberty Projects. We rescue wild Mustangs and bring combat vets in for equine therapy." And you know what? We're fortunate. I appreciate that. We're fortunate. And people are like, "Well, how many people have you helped?" I go, "It doesn't matter. If we've helped one, we've done our job." We've done our job. I am very much pro-military. I love each and every one of you. How many of you in here have served? Stand up, please. Stand up for me. You talk about making the choice of an ultimate sacrifice. Think about it. Those men made a choice to help you live your life. We got to be thankful. We got to help everyone we possibly can. I can go on for 5 hours about the system and how it sucks. Sorry, but it does. Okay? Those are little things we get to do. As I said, each and every one of you has a talent. God has blessed you with something. Use it. Use it. Don't tell anybody. Just do it. You know why? Because you'll wake up the next day, you'll be like, "Man, I feel good. I feel good." Why? Because you are a small part in somebody's lives. Pastor, I know you've gone to houses thousands of times. Nobody knows that stuff. Nobody knows that's going on. We can all do that. Can we do that? Can we make a difference? Can we make a difference? That's the hard part. Easy part is football stuff. Okay? I can sit up here and talk forever and ever and tell you about how God blessed me to go play and be in the NFL and do all that stuff. And it's all glamorous until you're in your 10th year and your 6-year-old son has a headache and you call the doctor that you've never seen in your life because you're in Cincinnati, you've just been there a month. And he says, "Well, I wouldn't worry about it, but if he throws up, I'd have him take him in and have him get checked." Hang up the phone, what happens? Throws up. Take him down to the hospital. They do a CT scan. The guy looks at it and he goes, "Yeah, it looks like he's got a cyst. You know, no big deal, right?" So what a lot of you guys don't know is on Wednesday mornings, every doctor from every NFL team is there because they want to pass you for practice Wednesday afternoon. Right? Everybody that got hurt on Sunday needs to go through, get checked. So all the doctors are there. I told the doctors what was going on, and everything else. Oh, by the way, let's back up this whole story so it makes perfect God sense. I played 4 years for Washington, 5 years for the Raiders. Okay, my first 9 years in the NFL, I missed the playoffs 1 year. I was on some really good football teams. One of those years, we won that little thing called the Super Bowl. Thank you, Bronco fans, and John Elway. Back all that up. So I played 5 years, had a conversation with Mr. Davis, Al Davis. He's like, I think we're going to move on. I said, I think it's a good choice. So I sat there, I said, I'm going to go somewhere warm, somewhere where they have a good football team and somewhere where they play on grass. 10 years, I get to choose, right? So I make trips to all these different teams and everything else. I made a trip to Cincinnati, Ohio. And people are asking me, why are you going to Cincinnati? Why not? I go there, get on the phone, I go, I'm still in Cincinnati, call my agent, I go, I'm going to sign with Cincinnati. And that was his response. He's silent. He's like, what are you talking about? Cincinnati was terrible, okay? They played outdoors on turf. All the three things that I really wanted, right? Cold weather, outside, and on turf. I said, no, I'm supposed to be here. Fast forward halfway through the season, my son throws up, go in, get him checked, has a cyst, go in, talk to the doctors. I go into meetings. One of the doctors makes a couple of calls. 11 o'clock, they come pull me out of the meeting. Says, you have a meeting with Dr. Crone, grab your son, grab the images. Dr. Crone down at Cincinnati Children's Hospital wants to see you now. You don't want that phone call. I go grab my 6-year-old son. I take him down there. Dr. Crone couldn't have been any nicer. We go down. They take an MRI, everything else. We're waiting around. It's 3 hours later and everything else. I'm walking back into the office with my son. By the way, my son feels fine right now. He's my middle son, feels fine, jumping around like every 6-year-old kid does and everything else. We walk back into his office, and I'll never forget this. The nurse at the front desk, her name was Mimi. We walk in, she started to cry. Now, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I realize that's probably not a good thing, right? So Dr. Crone tells me on a Wednesday at about 5 p.m. that my son has a brain tumor. And the reason why he threw it up is because it started to hemorrhage. Well, I knew enough that blood in the brain is never good, right? And he says, we need to do surgery now. Time out. Dr. Crone, I appreciate what you're doing. I said, but I'm in the NFL. I got contacts. I'm like, I'm going to find the best doctor there is. No joke, he goes, absolutely. He says, but just know, Friday morning, he is scheduled. I'll wait till Friday. Friday morning, we're doing surgery. And I'm like, okay. I walk out. I got a pamphlet and folders this thick. National Brain Tumor Society headquarters. The next day, I'm on the phone. They're in Houston, Texas. I'm like, here's the situation. Here's the deal. Finally get up to the president, the guy who runs the thing. He's got all kinds of letters and different things after his name, everything else. He calls me back, and he goes, Mr. Schroeder, he said, where did you say you are? I said, went to Cincinnati Children's Hospital. And he said, Dr. Crone? And I go, yeah. He goes, stay there. I'm like, why? He goes, well, Dr. Crone just got back from Japan where he took the top surgeons in all of the world and taught him the surgery your son needs. I wasn't in Cincinnati to play football. Thank God, because we started 0-10. I'd never been 0-10 in my life. I was there because God knew my son needed to be with Dr. Crone. So my 6.5-year-old son goes into surgery. They cut a rectangle out at the top of his head. Follow me. Separate the two halves of his brain, go down 4.5 inches, and take a quarter-sized tumor out of the middle of his brain and put them back together. Now, I don't know if you've ever done it. I hope you never have to. But as I'm walking to surgery with my son, who has no clue what's about to happen, you've been on the other end. The chaplain comes. Can I pray for you? Don't want to be in that situation because you know it's not good. Dr. Crone had told me it's 50-50 that he comes out, 50-50 that he remembers who I am. Anybody want to take that risk with their 6-year-old? So, being the fact that it was in the middle of the season, being a good football player, I did what? I told Cincinnati to go fly a kite. My son asked me to be there. I spent the next 10 days in intensive care with my son. I never left. That's what my son means to me. Football was a game. I brought my kids up. Football is something that Dad does. It's not who Dad is. There's a difference. He also said, when he wakes up eventually after the surgery, he said, I think it went well. He says, don't be surprised if he doesn't know who you are. Try taking that one as a parent. So it was day 3 after the surgery. My son's finally coming out of it because they got steroids and everything else, so there's no swelling or anything else. He starts to blink. I jump up. I look at him, and he blinks, and he focuses on me. He will tell you to this day, now that he's 39 years old and been a 2-time brain tumor survivor, he will tell you to this day, he clearly saw me. That's a God thing. See, when you do good things for God, God will do good things for you. Now look, I'll be the first one to tell you, okay? Undoubtedly, there's at least 1 or 2 people in here that have had people go through stuff and it hasn't turned out that way. It's not a God problem, okay? It happens. That's life. I just happen to be one that was on the other side of that and was blessed by God, okay? We all go through things in life. It's funny. I said a long time ago, I'll play football as long as I don't get hurt. Awesome. Played 11 years in the NFL. I've now had 13 operations. I've got a fake knee. I've got 4 rods and 8 screws that hold my head up. I got 2 rods in my back. I got a shoulder that's not attached. I was knocked out 3 times. 1 for 2.5 hours. Yeah, that was a good one. NFC Championship game against the Giants. Greatest call John Madden ever made. The Giants are going to win. And, looks like Jay Schroeder passed out on the field. We'll be right back. We were in New York. I was playing for Washington. The team showered, got on the bus, went to the airport, flew back to Washington, and got home before I woke up in the locker room. Couldn't have played in the Super Bowl if I wanted to. Because 2 weeks later, I still had sunglasses on, thriving headache, and everything else. But the Giants won this year, they won. All that to say, would I do it again? Absolutely. I wouldn't change a thing. Gentlemen, it was great. It was horrific. But I knew all along one thing was my constant. God was in charge. He put me where he wanted me, and I was going to let him use me. Whether that was getting my butt beat up or going to a Pro Bowl. I've been able to do some amazing things. A couple of things, then I'm going to open it up to questions. I'm the only guy you'll ever meet that's played baseball against Pete Rose and handed a football off to Walter Payton in a game. Okay? And to give you some idea of some of the good men that are out there, when I went to the Pro Bowl and we're stretching, I walked over to Walter because we'd played against the Bears, right? And everything else. And I walked over and I go, Mr. Payton, it is so much fun. He goes, stop. He looked right at me. He stood up. He grabbed my hand. He goes, Jay, he says, we're teammates. You deserve to be here. I'm Walter. That's the kind of man that I was blessed to be around. Okay? It was a respect thing. He's like, you're on the same field with me. Pete Rose was the same way. Played hard on first base, taking a lead. He's talking to you, trying to help you with the game. Amazing individuals. Okay? So I've been able to do that. I stood on the White House lawn with President Reagan. You can clap because that almost didn't happen. How many of you remember the night Joe Theismann broke his leg? I'm the guy that replaced him. Do you know that? Okay. I'm the guy that came in. We ended up beating the Giants on Monday night. So it was my first game in the NFL. It was my second year. I didn't play my first year. Came in. I threw 2 touchdown passes. We beat the Giants and everything else. So first game is on national TV when there was only one Monday night game, by the way. All right. And it started at 9 o'clock Eastern time, so it was way past my bedtime. That beat the Giants, a rival, and everything else. And oh, by the way, President Reagan was in the stands. Okay? And it was on November 18th because the next day, my oldest son turned 1 year old on November 19th. That's how I remember the date. Also, on November 19th, my phone rang at the little townhouse that I had, and it said, Mr. Schroeder, this is Jan. I'm with the White House. President Reagan would like to see you. Yeah, sure. I hung up on the White House. Now, not that they have supernatural powers or whatever. I'm telling you, as soon as I put that phone down, that sucker rang again. I'm not sure how. Back in those days, I picked up and he goes, Mr. Schroeder, please do not hang up the phone. I'm actually with the White House. I'm Jan. I'm 23 years old, guys. Why would the president call me? Right? He says, President Reagan was at the game. He was governor of California. He found out you went to UCLA. He would like to invite you to the White House. He says, by the way, do you have a tuxedo? How many 23-year-olds have a tuxedo? He goes, I would get a couple. I'm like, okay. So I put on the only suit I had the first time I went down and met him and everything else. I got to spend about 30, 35 times at the White House. Because I could throw a stupid football, okay? I got to be really good friends with President Reagan and his wife, Nancy. They were terrific people and everything else. I'm telling you, I've got long blonde hair. I'm standing here. President Reagan is standing there. President of Saudi Arabia is standing there on the White House lawn. What am I doing? I'll be the first one. I don't have a clue about politics, nor do I want to. And I'm standing there. I'm like, what is going on? My kids, my 2 boys at the time, were 2 and 4. Nancy Reagan is taking them around the White House lawn doing Easter egg hunts. I got no clue. But again, these are the people that influenced my life. These are the people that influenced my life. I've been around some great people, and it's hopefully it's come through. Hopefully I've learned a couple of things. Have I been around some jerks? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm like, I don't want to be that way. Gentlemen, it's a choice we get to make. It's our choice. Do you get that? It's our choice on how we want to live our life. And I'm going to be really cut and dry, pretty simple. I made a choice at 22 years old that I was going to follow Jesus Christ. That's what I did. Have I made mistakes? Absolutely. Have I paid for those mistakes? Absolutely. Have I seen miracles? Absolutely. Am I still ticking and going around? Absolutely. I'm not done. I don't think he's done with me, right? I still have some other people that I can help out some way, somehow. I don't know what that looks like. Challenge to you is, what can you do? What can you do? How can you take one person and make a difference in their life? That's all it is. It's one. Because what's going to happen to them? What are they going to do? It's going to multiply, right? It's going to multiply. You being here tonight is a great step. Why? You thought I was going to come talk football stories. Okay, I'll get to those, sure, all that. But the essence is, as men, we need to step up. We need to step up. People ask me all the time, look, I was playing for the Raiders, the big bad Raiders, right? Okay? I ran the chapel program. I'm the quarterback of the big bad Raiders, and I'm in charge of chapel speakers every Sunday. And guess what happened? When they don't show up, guess who gets to preach to their teammates? Absolutely, Lord, I'm here. Here we go. Let's go. Let's go. Step up. Do what you got to do. Okay? If you're uncomfortable, that means you're doing something good. That's a good thing. Okay? Can we take that challenge? All right. We got some time. I'm in no rush. They may kick us out at some point in time. Questions? Fire away, because none of you followed the story because it makes no sense other than God did it. Yes?
Knocked you in that game? Knocked you out?
Well, it wasn't LT that knocked me out, but I will tell you, I think I'm third all time on LT's sack list.
Yes.
That's probably not a list you want to be on, okay? But what I was told, because I have not watched the game, I have never gone back to watch the film because we lost and everything else. What I was told was Jim Burt hit me here, I came this way, and then he slammed the back of my head on the turf, the frozen turf in January in New York. That's what I've been told. I don't know. I just know that I supposedly went to take a knee and lean on my helmet and fell on my face. I woke up, I was nude in the locker room. I don't know. I was. They cut everything off. I was like, yeah.
I'm just wondering what your opinion of the NFL today is with all of the wussification that's gone on. And the
I think we had this conversation, didn't we?
and the changes they've done, which makes it almost impossible to watch.
It's a totally different game. Pastor and I were talking beforehand. Every year in July, the referees come around and they explain the new rule changes to everybody in the league so they understand. So I had just gone to the Pro Bowl in '86. In '87, they came to training camp and they said, hey, everybody needs to listen up. Follow this. We're going to protect the quarterbacks. I'm like, I'm going to sit up here. This is pretty good. And the first thing he says is, y'all know rules of basketball? We're like, yeah, we're sports guys. He says, good. He says, and he pointed right at him. He says, so if Jay throws the ball is gone. If he takes 2 steps and hits him, it's not a foul. If he takes 3 steps, we're going to flag him. It's like doing a layup. Now, did you understand what I just said? Because I don't have the ball anymore, but they could still get hit. And I thought that was great because, like I was telling Pastor ahead of time, I got hit every play. What you didn't see from back then is when the ball went down, the television camera, we'd get hit all the time. LT would come around, throw a 4-iron, Reggie White. I was in the wrong league at the wrong time. LT twice a year. We played the Bears every year. Reggie White was in the league. Ed Too Tall Jones and Randy White were with Dallas. My mother messed up. I was born way too early, okay? But I'll tell you what, so I was telling Pastor, part of the game when I played was being just crazy enough to stand there and do that. There's a lot of guys that can throw a football, I'll be honest with you. There's not a lot of guys that can go hut and have four of the biggest people you've ever seen in your life who want to hurt you decide within 2.5, 3 seconds how to throw it, who to throw it to, where to go, and all that, and still stand there. That was the difference. I was proud that I did that. I never laid on the field. Somehow I got up. I don't know how. I don't remember it, but I did. So there you go. Yes?
Okay. If I'm not mistaken, Coach Gibbs was your coach?
Who?
Coach Gibbs.
Coach Gibbs, yes.
So what kind of a influence did he have on your life, being the godly man that he is?
Oh, he had a great influence on my life. It was awesome. He was at every chapel we were at and everything else. In fact, I see him. I didn't see him this year, but every other year I've seen him before the race in Las Vegas. So we still get together, and I still see him and everything else. There is a man that has been through a lot. He lost both his sons. Both his sons. And he's endured, but his faith is still strong as ever. So he was a great influence on me. I was very, very privileged to play with him. Best coach I've ever had at making halftime adjustments.
So Elway took his first snap against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he lined up staring at Jack Lambert.
Yep.
Was there, and at that time, he said that they could have had the $5 million back, and he'd go back to just being an accountant. So my question to you is, what was the worst player that you never wanted to see line up on the other side of the field?
Jack was not fun. Okay. Jack was a little crazy. Honest, true story. So I was in California. I was playing baseball. My sister worked as the head bartender for the Westlake Inn. The Pittsburgh Steelers were playing a playoff game there. So in the off season, I would stock the bar and everything else. So I'm there as the Pittsburgh Steelers are there, and the next year I'm playing against those guys. I'm handing them beers one year, and the next year I'm on the same field with them. So there's some guys that were scary, crazy good. LT was a fantastic player, no doubt about it, but he also had a cocaine problem. And that made it a little scary. Okay. He had that. I got to play with and against Lyle Alzado. Here's a guy that took so much stuff that literally blew up his brain. No other way to put it. So, yeah, there's a fine line. And but I got to play against and with some of the greatest athletes in the world. LT changed the game forever as far as defense. I'm playing for LA Raiders. One play I hand off to Marcus Allen, and the next play I hand off to Bo Jackson. Pretty damn good, right? And I'm throwing to Tim Brown, Mervin Fernandez, Willie Galt, Art Monk. I've been blessed. I got to play with some of the greatest in the world, so it was fun. Yep. Yes?
If you were to get into a fight, who would you want with you? Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen, or Howie Long?
You're probably going to laugh, and I'm going to take Bo Jackson in that. But I will tell you a funny story. We were playing in New York. I threw an interception. And, of course, you had to go tackle the guy back then, not like today, right, where the quarterbacks don't have to do all that. So I get to the sideline, and Harry Reasons is the guy that picked off the pass, and he's running down the sideline. And you know how you just catch him with momentum? You know, it wasn't like I hit him. I just kind of grabbed him and threw him, but he went over their bench, okay? So we're on their sideline, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's right. You know, I'm like this, and all the guys come up, and they stop. And I'm like, yeah, right, I'm good. Then I get a little dose of reality because I turned around, and Joe Jacoby, my left tackle, is standing behind me. Joe's only 6'9", 340. And I'm a fairly big guy, and Joe makes me look small. And here I am thinking I'm all bad, and then I went, oh, never mind. So I'll take Joe and Russ Grimm anytime. So there were the two linemen. Yes. Yeah. True story. Turned around, I was like, yeah. Oh, never mind. I'm not all that tough. Who else? Fire away. Yeah. Sprint. Don't do that. You'll pull something. I don't run anywhere anymore. Way too old.
Okay, obviously a great athlete with a great arm. So who does a great athlete quarterback look up to in that league? Joe Montana? Do you look up Marino, Elway? Who's the one that you think is the best?
Well, I got to play against all those guys and grew up with all those guys, okay, and all that. So I'm going to go way back. You know, there's a couple of guys that played with Baltimore back in the 60s that could flat sling it. Burt Jones was amazing. I thought watching him throw the ball down the field to Roger Carr was phenomenal when you could throw it like that. So I watched him, Earl Morrall, all those guys, watched how they played, and just ended up playing against, you know, some of the greatest of all time. There's no question about it. People ask me this all the time. I think it's hilarious. They were like, well, you're not in the Hall of Fame. No, I'm not, and I never will be, and I'm good with that. But the first year that I was eligible, there was 2 quarterbacks that were eligible. My year for the Hall of Fame. The other guy, you may know him, you may not. Montana, like the state? Yeah, I'm on the ballot with Joe Montana. Like I'm like, ballot, Joe. It was easy, but no, I was fortunate enough to even be considered. So I wasn't in it for that. So it was all good. Yes? Hurry up, this is the only chance you get to ask, hurry.
Not to date you any further, but you retired the year I was born, so.
Why did you have to say that?
My question is, with the league getting so soft, who is the best approximation, in your opinion, of a hard-nosed quarterback in the league nowadays?
Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow.
Wow.
Joe Burrow could have played in our era. I don't know if too many others could. You know, people ask all the time, it's funny, they're like, well, they're more athletic, they run more and all that, because they don't get hit. Okay? I'll be very frank with you. I could run, John Elway could run, a guy by the name of Steve Young could run, but we didn't because it was hazardous to our health. And, you know, the coaches made it a point to say, we need you on the field, not, you know, getting whacked down the field. And, you know, unless it's in a Super Bowl, then you do the helicopter like John did. So, you know, you got to pick your choices. But, you know, nowadays, you know, you got Patrick Mahomes running down the field, then he half pulls up and everybody backs up and he still runs another 10 yards. My day, I would have been 4 rows up in the stands, right? I mean, it's just a different game. The rules are different, so it's all that. But Joe Burrow, I think, could have played in our era because I think he's a tough guy. Yep.
You played against the Giants a lot. You
too many times.
When you were really young playing the Giants, do you remember the quarterback on the Giants? Did you ever play against? Was Neil Jeffrey? Do you remember him?
I did not play against Neil. They had let's see. God, I'm drawing a blank. The blonde-haired guy, Phil Simms. Phil was the quarterback.
Neil might be. Yeah, he was our fellowship appreciate athlete guy in high school.
Yeah. So Phil was the quarterback there.
Yeah.
You know, I will tell you, as a professional athlete, everybody has that aha moment when you finally realize what you're doing, right? And you're like, how did I end up here? Mine came when I was with Washington, and we're about 2/3 of the way through the first season, and I always stood right next to Joe Gibbs. I had best job in the world, be a backup quarterback, by the way. Okay? You get paid a lot of money, you get a front row ticket, and nobody ever hits you. Okay? All the fans love you because they don't know if you can play or not, right? So I'm standing on the sidelines. I put my jacket on before the game. I'm standing next to Joe Gibbs for the national anthem, and I look across the field, and I went, oh my goodness. I said, that's Tom Landry. I'm in uniform playing a game that Tom Landry is coaching. That was my moment of, whew, what am I doing? And I didn't have a clue, so it was all good. It was all good. Couple more questions. Yeah?
Here we go.
Jay, I just want you to know, I have your football card, and I got it probably when I was about 10 years old. So it just struck me right now that when I was a kid, I used to collect football cards.
You're still a kid. Yeah, you all know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, now, look, okay? Now, age is just a number and all that, but why do they have to keep reminding you when you get that certain age? For 3 months, every day in the mail, I get 2 or 3 pieces of mail, and you guys that are my age understand this. Why does it always say Medicare, Medicaid, AARP? That makes me mad. I'm like, I know what age I am. You don't have to remind me every day that I'm old, okay? I'll be 65 in June. I'm tired of getting that stuff, okay? So it's just a number, but you're still a youngster. You got plenty of life. Good. A couple more. In the back.
Here we go.
Here we go.
In your career in the NFL, being a Christian man, what was the biggest challenge, or were you ever challenged on your faith by teammates or other people on the other team?
Are you seriously going to ask that question?
I am.
Never got challenged, no, because the NFL is just a perfect, straight up notch.
Yeah.
Really?
There's got to be a story
So,
somewhere where your faith stepped in.
Here's where I knew I was blessed in Washington because the head coach was a man of faith. Unbelievable. I get traded to the Raiders. I'm there for 7 days, and we fly to Houston to play a game. And we flew charter. So we get on the plane and everything else, and I'm like, I'm walking back there. I'm still trying to figure out who everybody is, right? And I sit down, and I'm between Todd Christensen on one side and Bo Jackson on the other. And I'm like, hey, guys, who are the 2 guys in the sport coats up front? And Todd, straight face, who's been there the longest, looks right at me and goes, oh, they're LAPD. I'm like, why are they on our flight? Oh, to make sure guys get to the game on time in case they get in trouble. I'm like, what? I'm like, this is professional football, right? That's their job? And he goes, yeah, but we always have a couple. That's when you knew you had to be a little different. Yeah. Yes?
Are you still close friends with the Super Bowl team?
Yeah, we get together every now and then. I was telling Pastor ahead of time, the Raiders do the best job of anybody in the league with their alumni association. Every now and then, the Redskins do get together, but Mark Davis does a great job bringing everybody back, which is nice because it's nice to see guys when we're not at funerals. I was telling Pastor, I think I'm up to 12 or 13 guys that I played with or against that have passed away. And a lot of those have been by suicide, unfortunately. So it's a tough game. It's rough. Do I golf? I do. I used to golf a whole lot better than I do now. I heard that, yeah. I used to golf a whole lot better. My body doesn't like that game much anymore for constant. Does Bo know? So when I first got to meet Bo, real quick couple of stories. I got to first meet Bo. I told Bo I was Bo before Bo. And he just laughed, and then he found out my story. And then he cost me money. So when he first got there, my first year with the Raiders, he was still playing baseball. So on Monday, we would do our film and we would do our walkthrough and everything else. And the coaches asked if I would stay and throw a couple passes to Bo. I'm like, absolutely, right? So we had one grass field. We were doing our stuff, and Bo was over. We had about a 60-yard turf field, and Bo was over there stretching, just kind of jogging back and forth and everything else. So after we get all done through, they come over and they go, hey, Al Davis's thing was how fast can everybody run, And that was everybody like me. I never ran a 40 for Al Davis. It was great. I was like, he doesn't care as long as I can throw it. He doesn't care. But they came over and they asked Bo to run a couple of 40s. He's like, okay. And the coaches are like, you want to put your cleats on? He's like, no. He had his Nikes on, He said, I'm good. So there was 4 coaches down there with hand times, and now Bo is 6'1", 235, built like he was chiseled, right? Unbelievable. He just, like God said, poof, there you go. So he runs the first one, and I'm down there, and I was like, that man was moving really quick. And I go down there, I ask the coach, I go, what'd you get him at? He goes, I got him at 4.21. I was like, what? He's in tennis shoes on grass. And they go, hey, can you run one more? He goes, Bo's a great guy, by the way, but he was like, one more, that's it. One more. 4.20, 4.19, 4.21, 3 coaches had him. 235 pounds on grass in tennis shoes. Phenomenal athlete. And could throw a football. Almost as far as I could throw a football. I mean, he was just a really good athlete. So I bet him, I said, if you make the All-Star game, I said, I'll buy you dinner. And he was like, no. He said, I'll make the All-Star team. I'm going to tell you that, but I'm going to hit a home run. And I'm like, okay, steak dinner wherever you want, I'll treat you. So he makes the All-Star team, right? Then he talks the manager into leading off. Third pitch, he hits it dead center field, about 430-some feet. I'm not kidding you. Within 3 minutes, my phone is going off. He is in the clubhouse laughing hysterically. And I'm like, he goes, I am so hungry. I'm like, that's the type of guy Bo was. He was great. Phenomenal athlete.
Howdy. Just wanted to ask, there's a lot of men from different churches here. So, like, what is I know you said help one person out, and that's great. But as a group, like in different churches, like what kind of advice could we come up with to help out a lot of the people that are still in the streets, lost, or going to schools and talking to the kids about drugs and alcohol and different kinds of things like that? How do you think we could tackle that in a good way?
Very simple. You're talking about homeless. You can talk about elderly. You can do it. You all know, we'll just start here. You all know 1 or 2 widows around the neighborhood, right? Get a group of 4 or 5 guys, go clean up her yard one day. Okay? You all know there's people on the street. Don't give them money. Go take them and have a meal with them. Take them to McDonald's. Find out their story. Because once you understand their story, now you can help them. Okay? If you just hand them money, you're not helping them. Because he could be in a bad spot, right? But you can go have a meal with them. What does it cost you? A half hour, 40 minutes? Right? What does that person think of you now? Whole different light, right? Well, who's this guy that's going to take time out of his day to sit down and have a meal with me? Right? Gives them hope. Gives them hope. That's all you got to do. It's the little things. And they'll grow. They'll grow. So just find something little and do it. 1, 2 of you, it's awesome. You can do it. Great question. Yes? You guys, Rory, I told you I'll talk all night. So I'm good. I got nowhere to go other than to see what my bracket's doing. You know, we're good.
I was going to ask, what caused you to give your life to Christ? It sounded like you got saved fairly young, but also around the time that you had offers. And typically when people have offers, they feel like big shots and they just don't really...
Well, I had been through that. So at 18, I had given a lump sum of money. Now, it's not what today's money is, okay? I got no issues with it. 18, I was the 3rd player picked in the first round of the baseball draft. My bonus was $135,000, okay? But in 1979, that was a lot of money, right? In 1986, I went to the Pro Bowl, was the best quarterback in the NFC, went to the Pro Bowl, we went to the championship game and everything else, and with all my bonuses for the year, I made $350,000. That was good money. To give you some comparison how TV has changed the game, if I were to have that year now and renegotiate my contract, I'd be making about $40 million a year. Television has done some amazing things. That's not one of them. Okay? These kids get way too much money before they actually play. That's part of my issue. But that's just me being an old guy. But, yeah. Next.
Couple more.
Couple more. Okay, go for it.
What's your opinion of college players being paid nowadays?
Absolutely hate it, but you can't go back now. Absolutely hate it, but you can't go back. There's no loyalty anymore. I was telling the guys at my table 2 years ago, when the transfer first came in, was the first time in NCAA history, and it was done by a young lady. Okay, she played volleyball at the University of Texas in the fall, won the national championship at University of Texas for indoor volleyball, transferred to USC, played beach volleyball in the spring, and won the national championship in beach volleyball. Won 2 national championships representing 2 universities in the same calendar year. I don't like that. I don't like coaches jumping around. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look, everybody talks about college football. There's going to be about 10 to 15 colleges that can afford to play in the big boy league, and then everybody else. Alabama's payroll was $40 million. Texas has spent almost $45 million this offseason. I got $100 after we beat USC. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. And I didn't play. Well, and here's an example. So last year, Florida Gators won the national championship in basketball, right? So if you know anything, the next day starts, free agency, what I call it in basketball. So Florida wins the national championship. The next day, 6 kids on that roster opt out. And you know what the reason was? I can get more money somewhere else. I don't like that. Yes?
Hey, Jay, I was just wondering, did you have a chance to literally lead one of these football players to the Lord? Have you ever?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
wondered.
I've been very fortunate.
Praise God.
In the NFL, a couple of guys in the NFL, but
That's
also
wonderful.
a lot of young men that
Praise
I get to disciple on a daily basis.
All right.
And,
That's beautiful.
It's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. So it's been good.
And one more, and that's it.
Okay.
Hi, I'm JD, and I just want to thank you for son.
Get it up there. Yep. There we go.
You're praying. You're with your son doing the head stuff.
Yep.
So this happened to me. My dad prayed me 25 years back to the Lord. What happened to my head, just like your son.
Yeah.
Happened to me. So thank you for your son.
Well,
my dad.
bless
prayed
you.
for me too,
Yeah.
so.
My son's 39 and has got 2 of my 6 grandkids, and it's been a blessing. So it's been a lot of fun. So I got 3 kids and 6 grandkids. So grandkids are great. Have them first. Just saying. Take them to Disneyland, take them to the zoo, get them ice cream and all that. And my son looks at me and I go, dude, it's different rules. That was my grandkids. I said, they're going home with you. I don't have to try to put them down to bed. That's on you. And, my daughter-in-law looks at me like, and I'm like, get used to it. It's what I get to do as Papa Jay. That's what I get to do. So It's all good.
Hey, we got to let him get going.
Jay,
but
gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Round of applause.
Appreciate it.
God bless you. Thank you, Jay.
Oh, you bet.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you, Jay. That was awesome, man. And hey, he's going to be hanging around for a little bit. If you want to talk to him, get an autograph or something like that, come on by, shake his hand. Thank him for coming. Thank you so much, Jay. We appreciate you, man. God bless you guys. Thank you guys for coming.
Hey, real quick, guys. Before anybody runs off, we have one last raffle. I forgot the rifle over here. We're going to raffle that off before you guys go, so hang on just a second.
David something. It's not me.
David Carlson. Hey guys, we're gonna clean up next, put the tables up, so any help we can get would greatly appreciate it too, man. Throw your trash away, and then we're gonna take tables, put them on the outside out there.